What if I told you that before the great flood, 200 angels descended from heaven, took human women as wives, and taught humanity knowledge so dangerous that God himself had to intervene? This isn't science fiction. It's recorded in the Book of Enoch, validated by the Dead Sea Scrolls, and referenced throughout Scripture. Today, we're uncovering the shocking truth about the Watchers and the forbidden knowledge that corrupted the entire world. Stay until the end, because what happened to these fallen angels reveals something terrifying about our own future. Genesis 6, 1-4 gives us one of the Bible's most cryptic passages. The sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days. But who were these sons of God? What were the Nephilim? And why did this event trigger the most catastrophic judgment in human history, the Great Flood? For centuries, these questions remained unanswered. Then, in 1947, Bedouin shepherds discovered the Dead Sea Scrolls in the caves of Qumran. Among these ancient texts was the Book of Enoch, a manuscript that fills in the gaps of Genesis 6 with shocking detail. Jude 1:14-15 validates Enoch's prophetic authority, and 2 Peter 2:4 confirms, God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment. The story we're about to explore isn't mythology, it's biblical history that's been hidden in plain sight. God couldn't allow this corruption to continue. Enoch 10 describes how he dispatched 4 archangels to execute judgment. Uriel was sent to warn Noah of the coming flood and instruct him to build the ark. Raphael was commanded to bind Azazel hand and foot, cast him into darkness in the desert of Dudael, and pile sharp rocks over him until the day of judgment. Gabriel was sent to destroy the Nephilim by causing them to fight against each other in civil war. Michael was ordered to bind Semjaza and the other watchers in the valleys of the earth for 70 generations until the day of final judgment. Then came the Great Flood, not just a natural disaster, but a divine reset button. Genesis 7:23 states, "Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out, people and animals, and the creatures that move along the ground and the birds were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark." But here's what most people miss. 2 Peter 2:4-5 connects the fallen angels directly to the flood. God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell. If he did not spare the ancient world when he brought the flood on its ungodly people, the Watchers weren't just punished, they were imprisoned in Tartarus, a place of darkness and chains, awaiting final judgment. But the Watchers didn't just corrupt humanity genetically, they corrupted us intellectually and spiritually. Enoch 8 details the forbidden teachings. Azazel taught the art of making swords, knives, shields, and armor, introducing warfare on a massive scale. Metallurgy and mining, extracting resources from the earth. The craft of bracelets, ornaments, and cosmetics, vanity and materialism. The use of antimony for eye makeup, the beginning of artificial beauty standards. Semjaza taught enchantments and root-cutting, sorcery and dark magic. Aramaris taught counter-enchantments, spiritual warfare techniques. Barakiel taught astrology, worshipping creation instead of the creator. Kokabiel taught the constellations, divination through the stars. Chazakiel taught knowledge of the clouds, weather manipulation. Arakiel taught the signs of the earth, geomancy and earth magic. Shamsiel taught the signs of the sun, solar worship. Why was this knowledge forbidden? Because humanity wasn't spiritually mature enough to handle it. These teachings led to unprecedented violence and warfare, occult practices and demon worship, pride, vanity, and materialism, corruption of God's natural order. Enoch 8:2 records the tragic result. And there was great impiety and much fornication, and they went astray, and all their ways became corrupt. Why should we trust the Book of Enoch? Here's the evidence. 1. Dead Sea Scrolls discovery, 1947. Multiple copies of Enoch found among the most ancient biblical manuscripts, proving it was highly valued by early Jewish communities. 2. Biblical citations. Jude 1:14-15 directly quotes Enoch. 2 Peter 2:4 references the angels in chains. 3. Early Church Fathers. Tertullian, Origen, and Clement of Alexandria all referenced Enoch as authoritative scripture. 4. Ethiopian canon. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church includes Enoch in their Bible to this day, preserving African biblical heritage. 5. Archaeological evidence. Ancient structures like Baalbek in Lebanon feature stones weighing over 800 tons, technology that baffles modern engineers. 6. Global flood legends. Over 200 cultures worldwide have flood stories remarkably similar to Noah's account.
The story of the Watchers isn't just ancient history, it's a warning for today. Jesus himself said in Matthew 24:37, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man." What characterized Noah's days? Forbidden knowledge being unleashed, genetic corruption, unprecedented violence, spiritual rebellion, humanity ignoring divine warnings. Sound familiar? The Watchers thought they could rebel against God's order without consequences. They were wrong. They're currently bound in darkness, awaiting final judgment at the end of days. But here's the hope. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. In the midst of total corruption, one man remained faithful, and God preserved him and his family. The question is, when judgment comes again, which side will you be on? If this video opened your eyes to biblical truths you've never heard before, subscribe to Biblical African Heritage. We're uncovering the hidden connections between Africa and Scripture that mainstream Christianity has overlooked for centuries. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into biblical mysteries. Drop a comment below. What shocked you most about the Watchers, and what biblical mystery should we explore next? Until next time, keep seeking truth, keep studying Scripture, and remember, the Bible has more answers than we've been taught.